Okay, so in the future, if I'm chair of the day, it's going to be probably highlighting the startup community here in Peoria with a plug for the distillery labs down there, the incubator. So there'll be a few more speakers in the future, but we really have an exciting time here in Peoria with the startup community. And, you know, it's kind of a plug for me to reach out to you all and consider, you know, being a mentor, a supporter of the incubator down there, maybe an investor. I don't know, you know, it's up to you whether that's something that's of interest to you. But it's something that's really gonna, to me, I believe is really gonna drive Peoria into the future and help our growth as well as our job base here in town. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jon Stephens. He's the founder of a startup by the name of Glass Logic. Jon is an Illinois State grad. He's got a bachelor's in computer science, 10 years in the software industry, and then he returned back to the area in Morton to help the family run Stephens Auto Glass. So that's a familiar name to many of us. It's the auto glass business that's been in their family for 65 years. So with this Glass Logic startup, Jon and his team really know call it the pain of the customer when it comes to the auto glass industry. His wife is Sheila. They've been married for 34 years and they have 5 children together. So without further ado, Jon, come up.
All right. Wait, did I forget the microphone? Can I roam with the microphone at all or no? Yeah. I'm good. I'm totally good. Yeah. Yep, you're good. So I'm Jon Stephens from Glass Logic. I see a few familiar faces in here. But I am a member of Peoria Downtown, so I hope you guys still accept me, and I appreciate you guys coming and listening a little bit about what's going on in the Peoria startup community. So this is really kind of, it's kind of a story. Gosh, when was that? So Chase and I were in downtown Rotary a few years ago, this is a couple years ago, and Doug from Distillery Labs came and spoke. And so Chase was like, hey, he's like, don't you like have a little something going on the side with your software business? And I said, yeah. He said, you should really talk to Doug and a few people at Distillery Labs and just see if they can help you at all with Glass Logic. So at this point in my life, I was like, all right, Stephens Auto Glass is great. It's my primary business. It's my primary responsibility. And I really don't need anything extra. But I was like, all right, Chase, I'll go talk to him, whatever. And so, so I went and talked to them, and one thing led to another, and this last couple of years has just been, it's been crazy. And so in a good way, but it's just, there's so much involved with it, with just the startup community and getting, really getting involved in that in Peoria. I had no idea. Like I had no idea what was available to entrepreneurs in this area. And it's just a great thing in Peoria. It's going to help Peoria long term. So then that's how I ended up getting connected with Kurt as well. And so we met through Distillery Labs, and he's been just a great resource for me too, to be like, hey, what do you think about this? And I mean, he's got great experience in just business in general, so in the finance side of it. So we've gotten to be close. And so when he asked me, he's like, hey, would you come and speak at Rotary? I was like, well, I can, but it's like, it's more of a service organization. But then I was also thinking that's how I got involved in all this in the beginning. So as you guys are sitting here every week and talking, there's just connections that go on that you don't realize. And so my initial connection with Rotary at a Rotary lunch is really kind of what brought all this up. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about that company. Glass Logic and how it kind of got started and where it's going. So 30 years ago, so my family's been in the business of auto glass since 1960, okay? And 30 years ago, my dad, who's also an entrepreneur at heart, started his own business here called Stephens Auto Glass. So now we're in Peoria, Pekin, Decatur, and Bloomington Normal. And all he did was he bought a few pads with Stephens Auto Glass written on it. I'm sure you've seen them. Threw them into the back of a pickup, like a Jeep, and just drove around and asked for business. We only had one location at that time in Pekin. So my goal, when I graduated from college and left here, I was like, the last thing I want to do is auto glass, right? The last thing I want to do is get involved in family business. I'd grown up with it. I was like, I know it. It's time to move on. All right, so I went and did software work for 10 years, mostly for consulting firms. So we would get hired to come in and either run projects or help with projects, like at Sears, Deutsche Bank. There's just a bunch of different organizations I worked for through those 10 years as a consultant. And so then we started having kids. I had 3 kids, and I was literally on a plane all the time. I'm like, this is not gonna work. Like, I cannot get to know my kids and be on a plane all the time. So my dad actually called me at that point and he said, hey, I'm getting to the point where I need help with this. Like, it's kind of getting out of my control. Would you be interested in coming back? So I ended up coming back. We moved back to Morton. Sheila's from here originally as well. And so we did that, and we went along a few years. I did sales work. I still do sales work for Stephens, and honestly, I had a great time. I mean, it was so nice to be out from behind a desk, or a lot of times we taught like email classes and different classes for software. So it was kind of nice to be out of that realm and just getting to know people on my sales route. So I did that, but a few years into it, my dad's like, hey, you know, we've been using this system, a software system for our business, and it's old. Like, I think it was written in the DOS days or something. It's, you know, it is so old. And he's like, could you write something for us? And at that point, I kind of thought, I wanted to adopt a mindset of, I'm not writing this for my dad. I'm writing it for a client like I used to. And that client right now is Stephens Auto Glass. So I wrote it for us with the mindset of, okay, how can we attack this problem that we're having? How can we make it seamless for a customer when they come into our store and get some glass done? We want it to be a pleasant experience for them. We don't want it to be like, hey, you have to hop on another 5 or 6 way call, or you have to do this, do that, jump through every hoop. So we took our process and we really applied simplicity to creating an algorithm for our business. And we kept it within Stephens for a few years. We were like, this is great. Good for us, gives us a great competitive advantage. And it was going well. I mean, we were like, this is perfect. But then we started getting calls from other customers, other people in our space in Central Illinois and the Midwest that we talk to regularly. And they said, hey, we cannot find software that we really like. Would you be interested in selling your software to us? I'm like, Dad, we sell windshields. Like, I'm not gonna sell software. What do you wanna sell next? Air conditioners? I mean, come on. I'm not Tommy Boy. Well, I kinda am, but I'm kinda not. I'm like, let's go ahead and say no. So we said no. A year went by, same calls. I said, I kind of feel guilty. Like, I've got a background and I've got my training in helping people destroy problems, right? With logic. And I need to apply that. We applied it for us selfishly, but I need to help others too. So that's how we came up with Glass Logic. Glass Logic technically has nothing to do with the idea that it's in the glass industry. It is logic. I grew up on water skis, all right? And when we had a smooth morning in the Ozarks, Dad's like, it's as smooth as what? Glass. So people, my logic for the glass industry is as smooth as, right, so there's two meanings here, all right? So anyhow, we did that, started selling it. Fast forward to a few years ago when I was talking to Chase, we got involved in Distillery Labs, and I was like, this can really become much bigger than it is. So in June of 23, I got super serious about this because I was like, this could be so scalable. You guys are familiar with scalability. It can be so scalable. Like in the glass business, it's great. But everywhere you go, you got to get a new shop, new vans, new people. There's so much of a fixed asset investment in each business. Whereas with software, they can call me from wherever. I can roll it out to them in 15 minutes. They can be up and going within the day, just learning the basics of the system. There's very little investment on my part at that point. You just have to show them what to do. And I can put it national, I can get a national presence, which we already have. We're in 47 states already since June of 23. We are just having great traction in our industry, even against our regular competitors nationwide. And so that to me said, okay, I don't want to be down the road 5 to 7 years, look back and say, hey, remember that combo that I had with Kurt and Chase and I did nothing about? I don't want to be there. So in 5 to 7 years, I want to look back and say, okay, we did what we could and this is where we're at. And we're going to take advantage of what's available in Peoria. So we got involved with Distillery Labs. We're a portfolio company now of Generator because we went through their G Alpha program. I think there are like 50 companies that applied for the top 5 spots of G Beta, which is another part of their training. We got involved in that. And at that point, they said, do you know what a pitch deck is? I said, absolutely not. Like, I have no idea what a pitch deck is, right? So this is GlassLogic's pitch deck. A pitch deck is your way of presenting to investors in 5 minutes or less your product and your company. And at that point, they're like, yes, we want to continue. Or no, we have no interest at all. Like, you're not in our space, we don't have an interest. Anyhow, this is what the GlassLogic pitch deck is all about. And after G Beta, it was hilarious. We had an investor swarm week, and I was meeting with investors one guy was from Dubai. I mean, a few years ago, believe me, nobody in Dubai knew what GlassLogic was, right? And so this is the GlassLogic pitch. So obviously I'm Jon Stephens, there's my contact information. Do you want me to?
Here, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, so I talked about it a little bit earlier, but the problem that many consumers have when they go into an auto glass shop is the whole glass replacement process is just kind of sloppy. Like, you walk in, you have to do a 3 or 4 way call with an insurance company if you're doing it through insurance. The easiest part of our job, honestly, is the replacement. Like, we'll replace the glass, but now we do calibrations, which is all the electronic part of the installation itself, resetting your cameras, your speedometer, everything through that. But the process of coming in and getting it done, or even us going out to your house, getting that claim processed, was just kind of confusing for a lot of consumers. So our goal with GlassLogic is to take care of that. Next slide, please. So what we did was we really closed the gap. All right, we took my industry knowledge in software, we took our industry knowledge as a auto glass family, and we used the process of coming up with our own algorithms to create a solution to this problem. I know the technology. I'm just as comfortable sitting down and listening to music and writing code as I am talking to people. Like, I can do both. So I know the technology, we know the glass business, that's our strength. But we also wanted to give something to glass shop owners that are what? They're technically blue collar guys. Like, they're glass shop owners, they know nothing or very little about computers. They want it as simple as possible, and we wanted to do that and save them money at the same time. Next slide, please. So in the end of this, with the GlassLogic solution at your place, An efficient glass shop gets you back on the road as a consumer that much faster, right? You don't want to spend any more time in a glass shop than you have to be there. I mean, we're great. We've got a comfy couch. You can get coffee, it's all great, but you don't want to be there for 2 hours. So we want to get you in and out with quality work and the whole claim and everything processed. We're efficient.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. We have gotten so much in the last few years. This year, we'll process approximately $11 million in auto glass claims. 2 years ago, 500,000 maybe. So that's how much it's grown on the claims. Now, we obviously just take a small percentage of that for doing that for you. But that number is just going to continue to escalate. We have increased our revenue by about 200%, from 40K annually to 120K in the few short years. And part of that was a merging of two auto glass software companies, but a lot of that is just my knowledge and our knowledge in general to take those assets and wrap them together and really get them out there. Next slide, please. So our revenue model is B2B, but part of it is the software license itself. So we sell GlassLogic, you pay us annually for that license to use it. And then part of it is that small fee that we take every time we process an insurance claim for you. Our market overview was one of the biggest aha moments for me when I got involved within the startup community here. Our market just in the lower 48, our possible market's around 500 million. Our North American market, Canada, Mexico, Hawaii, everybody, is 1 billion. So there are way more Stephens auto glasses out there than I realized, right? There are a lot of glass shops. The thing you have to remember is we're not only catering to the auto glass industry, we're also catering to glazing shops. So one of my main customers up in the Chicago area has part of the Chicago Public Housing Authority contract. So every time a window breaks in any project building, which happens quite often, he gets to replace it. So he uses our software for that as well. But on an international scale, we're close to 2 billion, and this is really very conservative market. But the thing about it is, with talking to venture capitalists, because you talk to all these investors, everybody's got a different idea, they're throwing stuff at you, but they're like, listen, we wouldn't be talking to you if we didn't think this had some really great possibilities. And we think your market is not only a national market, but if a country has vehicles, they can use your software. So our customers are not only glass shop owners, but our customers are also big insurance companies. So just lately, I met with two big insurance companies. I won't say who, but they would like to take our solution and possibly adopt it as part of their in-house solution for processing claims. So you guys are probably thinking, okay, now this is great, but why are you even raising money? Like, if this is going along okay, Stephens Auto Glass is great, why are you raising money? The main reason I'm really looking to venture capitalists and different investors for a shot in the arm, and not just a few $1,000s. I mean, we're talking about lots of money, okay, for an investment. So 6 figures, low 7, as far as different market investments that we're looking to get. So what we want to do is we want to take that investment money, and we really want to perfect the glass claim process itself. So if you get a windshield done and you send it into the network to get processed and it gets rejected, like the claim gets processed, everybody's up in arms. Oh my gosh, my claim's not going to be processed. Everybody's involved, the insurance agents, Doug, everybody's involved, like, oh, I got to take care of this, take care of that. What artificial intelligence will do, it'll self-learn. It'll be like, hey, last time you sent that windshield in with this piece associated with it, it got rejected. Do you remember that? We're like, no, we don't remember that because we do so many claims. It did. It got rejected. So instead of you sending that in again, Mr. Glass Shop owner, and getting it rejected, we are going to fix it for you on the fly. And if you guys aren't, artificial intelligence is a huge buzzword right now. Everybody's getting involved in it. But if you really understand artificial intelligence, it's a combination of algorithms that are self-learning and really software that is self-learning. So it's a combination of both. And if we take a lot of that investment money that we're looking at and go full force into the artificial intelligence side of it, I think it could really be almost groundbreaking for our industry. There are people that are trying to do it, but are not having much luck. And that's what we're looking for. The main chunk of our investment is what we're looking for, and plus Rotary dues. We got to do that. Yeah. Next slide, please. So yeah, this is me, right? And so I have 3 current employees right now, 1 full-time, 2 part-time. We would also use some of that money as well to augment our staff and get going. But the thing that I don't want to do this. I don't want to look back and say, oh, that was a great move financially, and this is what I want to do. I want it to really be a solution for that person that's walking in the door to our shops, to any shop in the world, okay? And say, man, that was so much easier, and I have no idea what they have versus Safelite or other companies, right? Safelite could be a customer of ours as well. That's always a possibility. They have 7,200 locations. We have 4. And so I want people to come into our shops, come into any shop, even in Australia. I've had investors call me from the land down under. 2 years ago, I would have no idea, like no clue, like there's no way, right? So I want to make, if they're down under or they want to get their windshield fixed, I want to make it easier for them in Australia as well, right? Across the world. So that's where this is going. And I'm a homeboy by nature. I will never leave Peoria again. And so all of the good things that happen to GlassLogic, Switchbox, all the startups in the area are just going to directly benefit Peoria. And so, yeah, so that's it. I really appreciate your time. And just if we have any Q&A, questions and answers. Yep. Yep.
Wait 1 second, please. We've got people on there.
If you would explain what a logarithm is, and I'm going to say it again.
Never mind.
Yep.
If you could just repeat his question.
Yeah, so he's asking what an algorithm is. So an algorithm, one of my favorite movies, my favorite movie of all time is Good Will Hunting with Matt Damon. And if you picture Will Hunting, he was a janitor and he was working at MIT. And so he would solve a lot of the unsolved problems that were left by a math professor at MIT on the chalkboard. He would go ahead and he was smart enough to figure it out. He filled it out. So he was riding on a train, the Boston ballpark, it was in the background, and he was like sitting there and he just had a list of formulas going through his head, right? So I guess what I would say if somebody really asked me what's an algorithm, for me it is really applying, first of all, figuring out how to solve a problem, but applying software, code, and math, and merging those together and solving common problems with a solution. So the solution would be the algorithm.
But you're looking at millions of past events, the computer is. Based on that, you can forecast. Is that sort of it?
Yes. That's more on the artificial intelligence side though. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really, they're hand in hand, right? Yeah.
Didn't you just give away or sell a competitive advantage? Why don't you keep this within your 4 shops? I kind of think I know the answer, but keep it within your 4 shops and be at the competitive advantage with this software as opposed to giving it off or selling it off to other people?
I'm not gonna say it's because I'm not greedy, but I'm not greedy. Like, I'm comfortable, guys. I don't need to do any of this. Like, Stevens Auto Glass is great. I go out and visit my customers. I give them a few cinnamon rolls. Doug's been a benefactor of that over the years. It's easy and it's a great business. My dad is wicked smart and he knows how to build businesses and he's done a great job. And so I'm the benefactor of that, yes, but I've also brought in a lot to the table to help build the business, and that's great. I just want to help others in our industry. Like, I see so many guys in our industry, they're trying to figure out how to make the next payroll. We don't have that problem, but a lot of people do. And so if I'm gonna keep a solution to myself selfishly, I'd almost feel guilty doing that. So when guys started calling me for help, I just got off the phone with one right before I got here. I've got a customer in Beardstown, Illinois. He said, hey, I got struck by lightning like the other night. It fried my computer. I had no idea because I was out doing glass. And I was like, don't worry about it. I said, I've got everything backed up on my server here in Morton. Like, because I do automatic backups a lot of times for my customers. Everything was backed up. He's good to go. If he wouldn't have had me and if we would have had some national software company, he'd be on a toll-free hotline waiting for a half hour to even get a ticket generated, right? So the answer to that question is we just want to help others, kind of in the service of Rotary too. We want to serve others in our industry. If all the other stuff comes along with it, great. If we're at a point where we can't afford to do it anymore, we're gonna have to cut it, that's fine. But if we get involved, if we get outside capital involved and really spring this thing forward with people that are knowledgeable in the industry, the perfect partner I'm looking for now is like one guy that said, hey, the other day, he's like, I did the exact same thing with a roofing company. We invested in this roofing company. We really sprung forward everything for them, a roofing company that does claims like us. So, and we really sprang them forward and just gave them all I needed. I'm looking for that kind of partner on the investment side. And so, yeah, so we just want to serve our industry is really the answer to the question. Yeah. Chase is actually on my board as well. So, he's been a great asset. And he was my recruit. He's my first recruit to Peoria Downtown Rotary.
Yeah. One thing, Jon, let's not undercut. Jon was sleeping on this concept, but when we're talking about how many places this was, how many people, when you're talking to Danielle, did you think, like how many customers did you think you had? Or how many states, I think?
Oh, I think we had like 15 or 16 states is what we thought.
Yeah, and then when you did...
And then when I went through and did all the analytic work, which is kind of how I came up with the total addressable markets and everything, I sat down and I was like, okay, let's go through every bill and every transaction that we've sent out over the last few months and see who's actually paying us, right? And we marked off 47 states.
Yeah. So you were sleeping on this concept until, and I think that happens a lot too, is when people are sleeping on a good idea, but it's like Peoria's, entrepreneur community, you get that push.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Thank you. This has been very interesting. And if I understood one of the graphics you showed, it seemed like the insurance claims were significantly higher than the revenue. And why is that?
Because we only take like 1.5% of the actual claim, or very like 0.5% at some points. We have percentages all over the map. So you do a $500, you come in and get a $500 windshield replaced, then we collect, like just a few bucks off of that to process that claim for you as a customer and the glass shop. But the total dollar number is the 500. So the total claim, the face value of the claim itself, that's the 11 million. And we just take a small percentage of that to process that for you. Yeah. And that number's going to just keep on going up because it's crazy how that's expanded in the last few years.
Thanks again for being here.
Yeah.
So I just was over, I won't say where it was, but it was over here, Glass Company. And I have a chip in my windshield, 2025 calligraphy. $1,600 was the quote. Is that realistic? I didn't go ahead with it. It was $1,000 insurance, and so I would have had to pay the balance, but is that right?
I'm gonna plead the fifth. One of the first things my dad said to me, when I came back is he said two things. He said, you'll get to know your customers better than family a lot of times. Always respect people. Actually, three things. And never bash a competitor. So that's where I'm gonna plead the fifth on that. But we could give you a much better deal.
So thanks for being here. The other observation I have is why do windshields chip so easily? Thank you.
So that's a great question too. There's two really kind of categories you can buy from as a vendor. You can buy auto glass from. So we can buy auto glass from anywhere in the world. But the real key is it original equipment? And if it's original equipment, I'm not saying it's not gonna crack. Okay, if it's under enough stress, anything will crack, right? But if it's original equipment, the chances of it cracking are way less than, frankly, if I buy it from a foreign country that I have no idea what they're doing with their OE specs, just to save a few bucks on my own. And a lot of glass shops do that. If you really wanna go to a glass shop and get a good deal, you need to ask them, do you guys put in original equipment? Because if they don't, come to Rotary the next week, get my number and give me a call.
John, first, thanks for being here. You're always welcome back, even as a member, if you decide to get bored downtown. Others as well. Since Bob's back here asking personal questions, I have one that I must take advantage of here. I've been told, I have a Kia Telluride. I love the thing, I've had it 6 years now, but they said that that's the one weakness as far as the reviews is that the glass chips more frequently, and I've found that to be true. That's the only thing I've had issues with my Telluride, but I've had other glass companies say that all the glass is made from the same manufacturer, no matter what type of car it is. Is that true?
It's not.
Okay.
That's wrong.
That's what I wanted to
But
do.
I'm not bashing my competitors.
Thank you.
Dad, I'm not bashing my competitors. No, I'm just kidding.
That's all I want. We got
The one thing that you have to remember, a lot of people, especially Jeep owners and Jeep enthusiasts, they say, hey, John, what's the deal? You just put a windshield on my Jeep last year and it cracked again. I said, okay, well, were you on a gravel road? Were you Jeeping, right? But the other thing you have to remember about every year, make, and model, that's one thing too with GlassLogic. So GlassLogic is the point of sale, is the whole software system itself along with the claims process. But we pull in 4 times a year, we pull in all new information from a company in California, all new information about your vehicle. But one of the pieces of that information is what is the actual angle of the windshield? So in a Jeep, guess what it is? It's like straight up and down, right? And that's why people are getting cracks in their Jeeps, because when that rock comes, it has nowhere to go. But you put me in a vet and it's way back like this, the chances of you getting a crack are way less. But that's your expensive. Yeah. So it's the angle a lot of times. I'm not sure exactly what the angle of that vehicle is, but that's part of the process. That's part of the problem too. So, yeah.
side mirrors and houses.
Thank you, everybody.